Okay, so welcome to session 1 for cropping. In this session, we'll have a look at the research that's been done as part of the project and really focus on why energy efficiency should be a part of your farm's management and is important to its profitability. Make sure you've got your workbook ready to follow along. Let's go. So in this session, we'll have a look at some aspects of sustainability. We'll have a look at the research for all of WA agriculture and your particular industry. We'll focus on a financial example and why energy efficiency is important to your farm's profitability. And then we'll have a workshop session in which we'll look at your farming situation and what you're doing to manage energy. So in the Farm Energy Project, we approach energy management from a sustainability point of view, especially that social and economic side. Socially, you need to put across the business case to other people in your family or others on your farm as to why energy management and reducing electricity, diesel, ULP and LPG is really important. From an economic point of view, we focus on reducing costs and energy demand without affecting production, because that's where the real changes to your profitability will come from. So sustainability on farm has a huge range of benefits financially, operationally, and environmentally. As you can see there, more productive use of labour is a huge one. Farmers can take on average, around 30 projects a year. So it's really important in this workshop that we focus on looking at those energy reducing projects which are of the best value to farmers, because you can't take everything on at once and you really need to prioritize which will be best for you. So let's touch on some of the trends that have come out of the research, the USQ report. Rising energy prices are a reality. Diesel is on the rise. At current, Australians use around 38 billion litres of fuel a year, and that's split 19 ULP and 19 billion litres of diesel. So I want you to pause the video for a second and reflect. What is the first diesel price you can remember? In this workshop, we will focus heavily on diesel as the primary energy source across all the case studies undertaken by USQ. At 87%, you can see it should be our major area of focus. 7 case studies were undertaken in WA across a range of industries. As you can see, diesel was the primary energy source in all of those case studies. Horticulture was the only industry that varied a bit, with more electricity use for cool rooms and packing sheds. In terms of energy cost across all case studies in WA, once again you can see diesel is the highest there at 83%, as you'd expect. In terms of greenhouse gas emissions, you'll see that whilst diesel is still the highest there, electricity is quite significantly represented, given that it does emit more greenhouse gases as an energy source. So in that sense, you'll see here in this table that electricity use emits over 3 times the greenhouse gases that diesel does. What you also need to take into account though is that electrical motors run far more efficiently than diesel motors. A diesel motor will run between 35 and 45% efficiency, while an electricity motor runs at 95% efficiency. Okay, so that was the energy use for all the case studies. If you're looking at the 2 cropping case studies in particular, you'll see that diesel is slightly higher than the state average at 91%. This is because specialist cropping is a highly diesel intensive operation. And as you'd expect, the energy cost in specialist cropping is also higher than the WA agricultural average. And once again, the greenhouse gases emitted by cropping is slightly higher than the agricultural average. So that's a broad overview of energy use in WA agriculture as a result of the USQ research. And we've established that energy is a significant operational cost. But where do you start looking at energy use on your own farm? As you can see, we've got 4 main areas we focus on in the Farm Energy Project: measurement and benchmarking, energy source changes, tariffs and costs, and finally energy demand reductions through changes to practice or infrastructure. But you've got lots on your plate as a farmer. You're probably wondering, what's in it for me? Let's have a look at a financial example. So as you can see, we've got a set of base farm financials on our left-hand side. On our right-hand side, if we decrease the variable costs by just 1% to 59.4, that will increase our gross profit by 1.5%. Our fixed costs stay the same, but suddenly our net profit becomes 4.6%. That's an increase in net profit of 15%. And sure, you could also increase your net profit by increasing the amount that you grow. But as a producer, what do you have more control over? Increasing your income or decreasing your costs? So we've had a look at the trends, the research, your industry in particular, and considered a financial example. What I want to do now is have our first workshop session. So, in your workbook, consider the two questions that are on screen now. What are you currently doing to monitor energy use? And what are you currently doing to reduce energy use? Think about what you're currently doing on farm. You may have recently changed tractors and noticed a reduction in fuel cost without even intending to. Once you've considered the two questions, turn to page 2 of your energy plan and fill in the yellow box there. While you're at it, have a look at the level 1, level 2 and level 3 data that is required for the national standards for energy auditing, and think about your farm and the kind of data you have for energy use on it. Are you a level 1, a level 2 or even a level 3? We'll talk about it more in the monitoring video. Thank you for taking part in session 1. Your next session is session 2, options for energy efficiency.